Hello, everybody. So it's been 6 months since I've had an online meeting, I think. That's a long time for me. Hi, good to see you. Hmm, I feel a little teary. There's some new people here, and I hope it's okay with you if I feel a little teary coming back. I know the people who know me are okay with it. Oh my goodness, people keep joining. Oh my God, okay, okay. Ah, all right. Welcome. I'm gonna look around, and if you have it on gallery view, you can see, and then there's like a whole nother page of people. Oh, so good to see you. I hope you feel like I'm seeing you. So my heart has been even more marinated through this experience, if that's even possible, huh? Ever more marinated. So touched. And thank you for your love and support and uh, well wishes, and just know that it's it grew me. It has grown me to receive so much and allow myself to receive. I've been very independent and self-sufficient for much of my life, and raising my kids mostly on my own, and went to boarding school at 9 and in Switzerland, and had good parenting, but I was parented fairly well. But still, I had to be independent quite a bit. Flying in the airplane with my brother at 7 years old, and being very comfortable flying internationally and all this stuff. And here I was in a wheelchair for 3.5 months, and then in a walker, and just in the hands of people taking care of me, helping me, both in the hospital and then when I got home. But um, I think my independent spirit helped me get well probably faster. My willfulness of wanting to get on my feet again, you know, um, just really jump started, kind of, I don't know, just that will for being self-sufficient, and was good for me in terms of my healing. I didn't have I didn't find in this experience really, I don't think, a desire to be taken care of. Like, that didn't get like fulfilled, like this need or desire to be taken care of on that level. But it was so nice to receive it and let myself receive it. And I was genuinely surprised and touched at how many people wished me well who didn't even know me, and who even donated to my GoFundMe that my friend Sarah started, who don't even know me. I mean, isn't that remarkable in this day and age? For it made me feel, I don't know, more hopeful about our shared humanity. And I hope it softened me also in terms of being more like of a caring person in turn towards others. So anyway, I hope that you feel my gratitude, um, because it's sincere, and your continued well wishes are felt as well. I bet it not only my independent spirit got me back on my feet, but I bet all the prayers. I feel like all the prayers did. So Let me go to the other page so I can see everybody again. Hello. You don't know who's on the other page. Uh, so this is not just this kind of meeting. What I like is the energetic connection and participation energetically. So I would love for you to bring yourself on board and forward as much as you can. You're welcome to feel like you're a part of a circle here, okay? It's not just your own personal experience of sitting in your chair and wherever you are, but there is a shared space that we're inhabiting. It's not just made up. It's for real. And we're sharing molecules across long distance. And it can be one of beauty and love. It can be one of heart and connection, as much as you wish and allow for. It's completely up to you how much you wish to open your heart to connecting and feeling like you're here, and welcome yourself. Okay? It's not just a passive kind of experience that I like to have take place in these meetings. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to be a voyeur to a shared meeting. We want to participate and be here. And that's in general in life. Right? Being here within oneself, taking that one seat, as I say in Zen, right? I like to bring that one sentence forward, taking the one seat, taking a backward step, and then into yourself, and then the one seat. And then just settle into your body. If you hear some sounds, it's my dog. Just taking the one seat. That's the first step to being here and being present with others, is occupying yourself. And then you get to feel what you're feeling and opening to that. Feel any flutterings that you might feel in your heart or in your stomach. Any whatever is happening with your mind, just allow it to be so it can settle. As you know, whatever we welcome and open to, allowing it to be there, that's the way that something is able to sort of relax. It doesn't need to be so noisy if we allow ourselves to be with whatever we're containing. Okay, Nala, that's enough. She gets into these licking sprees where she just licks and licks and licks and licks. So, yeah, I think you want to probably hear a little bit about the accident. It might be helpful later to open it up to some questions, because I'd like to know what it is that is, important for you, not just as an interest. And I'm not here just to share, like it's a movie or something that we're watching, but more just like, how does this apply to what's interesting to you, what's important to you, to be what I've experienced, but also I'm sure things that you go through or have gone through, or perhaps in the future will go through, and I hope you don't, and it doesn't have to show up as an accident. But crisis is part of life, right? It's just part of life. If you go through a lifetime unscathed, then that's rare. And I don't even know if it's a more blessed life to not have gone through something difficult, or many things that are difficult. How about that? Because we're meant to grow and learn and deepen. And truly, I really believe that life is using, and there's so many layers and layer upon layer to what the divine is. And one of the layers, one of its realities, is the intelligence of using the doorway of suffering to open our hearts and to help us become more present and more compassionate, more available, more sincere, maybe stopped, as I wrote in my little blurb about this topic, is the power of being fully stopped when you don't have any more wiggle room to avoid something that is so challenging or so big, so real. Pain can do that. Loss, the death of a loved one, or a physical crisis like I had, where I had 9 broken bones, and so let me just see what I can say that might be pertinent. How has awakening that I've experienced and open to, how did it impact this experience of going through? And so I'll start with the initial hospitalization and all that. I have to say that there was just an experience of being open to the moment, truly. And some people have asked me, and that's how I know kind of like a little bit what to talk about, just because some people have asked me some of these questions, and that helps me to understand what might be interesting and helpful to you, is did what I've opened to spiritually, did it get affected? Did it go anywhere? And it didn't. It really didn't. So much so that I didn't even think about it. It wasn't even on my mind. Truly, one can be so integrated with opening to living truth, living as truth, or whatever, that there's nothing that can cover it up. There's nothing that can take it away or veil it anymore. It's not a refuge for me. Spirituality, awakening, realization is not a refuge. It's a reality. Does that make sense? And I'm not trying to brag. I'm really not. I'm trying to share with you. I just want to share with you honestly, because that's what you want to hear, right? How did this impact Susanna Marie's, whoever she is? So that's the truth. It didn't do anything. It was just continued reality as it is. Just, it sucked. No, it's just hard. Continued reality with broken bones. Continued reality with pain, continued reality with surgery, continued reality with, you know, all that. It's just moments of human experience. Just moment, like shudders of moment, moment, moment. And now this, having so much pain and not being properly given pain meds in the beginning, the first 36 hours in the ED. They call it the ED, which is the emergency department. So the accident happened in Albuquerque, only 7 minutes away from the only trauma center in New Mexico. So, mixed blessing, huh? um, and and I blacked out. I was gone. Like I blacked out, and I didn't even remember how I got to the hospital. Like, I was blacked out in the car. I was blacked out in the ambulance. So I had a pretty serious concussion. That's one of the reasons, besides the broken bones, that it took me a little extra while to get back to work. It's because of the concussion. And I'm still kind of coming back from that, in the sense that I can only do like one session a day right now and walk my dog and prepare my meal. And then I'm kind of done for the day. I'm tired. So I'm still coming back. So the bones are healing up. And, it was so, just that experience was just like any experience that you're having, but just the volume was turned up. You know how you have certain experiences, they're just harder, or you're in pain, or you have the terrible flu, or you hurt yourself, or it was just like that. But it didn't touch. It doesn't. How can it touch reality? Reality is not something separate from this moment. So really, truly, like non-dual understanding is where the separation between truth and reality is collapsed, and it's just a one thing. So how could it become two things again, where there is the experience, no matter how hard it is, no matter how could that shake reality? When it's fully integrated. The body is a very tender, sensitive thing. It goes through what it goes through, right? One thing I did discover is that because I had surgery and I went under anesthesia for the first time in my life, is that like a month later, when I was getting the first time I was getting body work, so I had 3 screws put into my hip, and the hip was talking to me during the bodywork session, telling me that it felt violated and hurt by the surgery. Because even though I was under anesthesia, the body wasn't asleep to the experience. Isn't that wild? We think, oh, she's gone, she's out. But the body was still, there was a part of the body that was awake. Crazy, huh? So while reality wasn't shaken in any kind of way, in terms of truth, definitely the psyche and the emotional body and the physical body were shaken. There were shock waves. Just like when there's an earthquake, there can be shock waves, right? And Earth herself will have there'll be effect. Trees might fall, or so an event does cause consequences. Does have consequences. don't want to diminish that or deny that. So, the shock of the accident is something I'm still working with in the body and being tender with it. For a while, there was this inner shaking. You couldn't see it, but on the inner, like deep, like the bones, the bones were broken. So there was this inner shaking, just like with an earthquake, the earth will shake. So awakening, realization, I don't even know what words to use anymore. How about this? Living as true nature. Our birthright, okay? Living as, you can hear me okay, right? Okay, good. Living as true nature. It's actually very simple in the end. Really, truly. They say that, and you're like, oh, yeah, sure, Easy for you to say. Well, what's simple about it is that you just come back to just what we're meant to be living, which is just being here as much as possible. And sort of, I do think it's a little bit like we realize that we're conscious animals in a way. Not that animals aren't conscious, but there's that awareness that human beings probably have that animals don't have. We don't know, right? So the animal in us gets hurt and needs time to recover. Does this make sense? Well, my PT person I was working with in Santa Fe, I'm in California right now. I was visiting family and just here for now. But in Santa Fe, my PT person, she said, you're just healing so fast. Every time you come in, there's like more, you're making strides. And she said, one of the things, and I'm just saying this because we're talking about how does awakening, how does that look in this kind of instance? And I didn't think of it until she said it. She said, you don't carry victim consciousness around it. And someone who I think is even here, yes, she is here, asked the other day to me, did you feel any anger or anything about the person who hit you? Who didn't have insurance. That's the only thing. But and the truth is I never once thought about having anger about it. I'm not saying it's a saintly thing. It just didn't really come up. Because really, there's so many things I wish didn't happen, but anger, no. Resentment, no. Because she's a mess. That woman is a mess. Seriously. Why would I want to wish anything more on her, She didn't have insurance. It wasn't her car. She's had breaking and entering police report. There's something not right in her world. And, but I didn't know any of that at first, of course. But no, she was even in the same ED with me for a while. I didn't see her. Maybe I did see her. But she was released that evening while I got to stay. And, why would I wish harm or anger is, I understand there's a place for anger. I'm not saying anger is a bad thing even. There could be healthy to have anger. I'm not even saying that it's not a healthy thing. Okay? There's a time and place, but I didn't feel it. So maybe an aspect of awakening? Maybe. uh Not having a victim consciousness, meaning I didn't take on being a handicapped person during that time, and because what can happen with identity is that even if we don't like it or don't want it, we can kind of unconsciously sort of take on the weakness of the experience, and identity can move in and say, I'm weak, I'm incapable of doing this right now. It can maybe attach itself to unworthiness feelings or something. And that didn't happen because I don't have that. It didn't have that experience inside. So the healing could happen, I think, more quickly without having these identities in the way. You know do you know what I'm saying? So like, let's say you start getting, you're limping or you can't do much. I couldn't take a shower for a month. That was awful. Someone washed my hair once during that time, but I couldn't get in the shower because of my stitches and the breaks and everything. But there are a lot of things that weren't great. I just have to say, really, truly, like sleeping without being able to roll over at all. I wish I could have learned how to sleep on my back from then on, but now I'm back to being a side sleeper. But but I learned to sleep, and you just get into this micro adjusting. Maybe it would have been a very different thing if I wasn't able to come back to walking, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, I got blessed that I can be, I can take care of myself again. It was a process. But the thing is that while I was in the midst of the first maybe 2 months, 2 or 3 months, I couldn't imagine myself again as a functioning person again. I couldn't picture it. Like, everything went out the window. My future, everything in the future went out the window. It was so in the moment, truly that much in the moment. I couldn't picture myself as walking, even though everybody said you'll walk again, and even the surgeon, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like I didn't believe it. I just it wasn't my present experience. Isn't that wild how imagination it wasn't there for me, for my future? And it's like, it was a strange feeling to not be able to imagine. I don't know if that's part of the awakening or part of the concussion. I don't know. Having blacked out was very interesting. Has anybody blacked out here? You blacked out. Let me go to the other page. Not that you're on the page. Raise again your hand. Have you blacked out? Had blacked out? Yeah. Ooh, some new people joined. Hi. So, okay. It's a weird experience, It doesn't really, it's not like sleep, and it's not death, but you're not here. Was that your experience with blacking out? Not here. And it wasn't like I had some great, what is it called, when you die and you have an experience? It's not called born again. It's called death experience, near death experience. There you go. I didn't have that. I just blacked out. But I think it's informative. I think that it has information in there. For me, it did. You know, when you say blacked out, it's like truly black. There's no one being there. It's it's just pure. It's not even the awakening, nothing, which you can come back from and go, oh, that was nothing. You know, I had an experience of something. I don't want to go into it too much because it's not much to go into, but it's a curious thing, and I think it had an impact on me. Maybe I'll be able to share more about what that impact is over time, or maybe never, because it was such a nothing. One thing that I just also want to add is that, which was very apparent to me in the months following the accident, is how much I um, the whole world was gone. All of you, even my kids. You know, I turned off my phone at night, which I've never done in my life since phones came in and I was a parent. I always had my phone on in the other room at night just in case, right? I wasn't available. I was gone from participating with life. And I think that was healthy for me. That was healthy. I couldn't be a caregiver of any sort. Not that I think that I'm have identity as caregiver, but I definitely have had very connected to me. Being a parent is very important to me. Being a being there for the kids, even though they're young adults, and but I think it was healthy for them, and it was healthy for me too, to just pull the plug. Really, the plug was pulled about being anything for anyone. I couldn't be a partner. I couldn't be a parent. I couldn't. The only thing that I still tried to be something to is my dog, a little bit, because she was right there and at my feet at all times, you know. So it was a reciprocal thing that we're giving to each other. Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever experienced that, to where you got flattened so much that you were taken out by participating in life, and it like really it the tap was turned off of being something in the world or for anyone. And so that was part of what took time too, is me to respond to emails was hard. It's strange, huh? That was hard to be responding. So it's nice to know that it comes back. Not it doesn't have to come back in the same way, right? Everything can be new. And that's the other thing. Everything can be new. How do you want to do life after a crisis? How do you want to do life again? Where do you want to live? Who do you want to be around? What work do you want to do? What do you want? Not like a bucket list, but like, what do you really want? What does your body want to be here? It does raise the question of what's important to you. Of course, it can happen also when someone you love dies, and It's like things we get rewritten, remade. And can you be as honest and truthful to yourself as you can to be in good faith towards yourself of how you want to live your life. These are the kind of things that have arisen for me. You don't have to enter the stream in the same way, you know? Not that it wasn't a bad stream at all. Some things will want to be the same, right? But it's an opportunity for regrowth. You've been cut down, as a plant, and you have a chance to regrow. And you can identify with this as in whatever way works for you. And you don't have to wait for crisis even to be faithful. I like that. I've never used that word. Be faithful. Faithful to your truth, faithful to what is true for you. And may it be aligned with truth. May you be aligned, What do I really want? And may it come from a place of truth inside. So we don't sell ourselves short and give our life energy away unnecessarily. And preserve what is precious inside. Use it in an economical way. Listen to me. Oh, I've never spoken like this quite. I've said many, many times to align with truth, live truth. I mean, it's been a mantra, right? But it has even more meaning for me, and I invite you to bring it forth within yourself. What gives you joy? Like, really, I love taking a walk in the park with my dog and exploring different places with her or maybe a walking friend, Probably, I love that. So, just the simplicity, really, of what brings you joy. You have that right. And it's not just a saying, it's true. So maybe there's something you can say yes to in your life after this meeting, or open yourself to saying yes to something that you've been holding back to. Just to look and see, maybe, why not? Yes, I really want to spend more time with that person, or less time. Or maybe I want to be more and have more of a more creative in my life, with some creative process. Write or dance or paint. No matter what age. Maybe I want to learn an instrument. Hey. Anyway, enough of that. So let me see what time we are. I didn't have it on full screen. That helps make it a little bigger. Everybody doing okay? I know that there's things that you probably would like to know more of in terms of the accident, but I can't think of it, so you might have to ask. So I spoke about not feeling like I took on identity around it. I spoke about not feeling any energies towards the person that did that it I don't think that I don't see it as in that way as a something to hold against somebody. Oh, one more I think this is a good one that so I had someone significant to me help me through this, primarily as a caregiver kind of thing. But I just want to let you know I didn't need like to be fed like this, or I was still quite capable, even though I was a mess in terms of my body. But I didn't need someone to shop for food and bring it there, and if I had to go to the hospital to bring me in the wheelchair there, all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't like I needed caregiving on the body level. Um, but and I'm very grateful for the help. But something about the oh, living as true nature. Something about living as true nature. Um, there's no false sense of gratitude, meaning like perhaps you felt into this for yourself, that the more that you come to in alignment with truth, the less that different feelings, they're more pure, like caring is more pure. Suffering is less story, just more pure. Just suffering is suffering. Caring, compassion, sadness is more pure. Like you just can let yourself feel sad without the story can be there. It's fine. The story's not even bad or wrong. It's kind of like the shape of the clouds create weather. But being cared for as I was, I don't have a story about how much I'm supposed to be grateful. It's just I'm grateful. Okay, clean. Doesn't need to linger. I don't owe this person anything. The way I see it is if someone wants to take care of somebody and it's up to them to have it be pure. And if they have any need to work around it for themselves, that's for them to work on. Like they call it unattachment, I guess. Right? Not being attached to result. Isn't that one of those spiritual that there's truth to it, not attached to result. And if you want result, then that's your problem. Not a problem, but yours to work on. You love for love's sake, right? You love for love's sake, not to get something or to be thanked for it. You help because you feel the call to be of service, to help, not to be thanked. Although being thanked is nice, but if it feeds identity, then that's not pure. But that's not for me to worry about. So that's something I realized that I don't owe this person anything or anyone. I'm touched and grateful, and it's lovely to be cared for and loved. It makes it worth living, life worth living, in a way, to know that that's possible and that we can do it in turn, right? But we don't owe anybody anything because of it. So it needs to, so that feels that's true for me. So maybe that's part of this awakening, maybe. You can decide for yourselves. And we have permission to feel that free. is my point. We don't have to manufacture gratitude or manufacture anything, really. Appreciation. And it's just, it's there. Does this make sense? Yeah. Well, thank you for listening. Just looking around at this other page. Some people can't see them. Okay. Okay. Well, let me think of anything else and then we'll open it up. Let me see. There's something about it took a while, some months for me to feel like I didn't really it would have been okay if I had been taken out, if I had died, is what I felt. But I feel like there were certain people in my life who still needed me. And I guess that would be my kids, maybe my daughter more than my son. Not that he doesn't love me as much, but it's about need, you know? And my dog. I know that sounds funny, but maybe if you have a beloved pet, you know what I mean. She's so unique. I don't really know if how much she would thrive if I wasn't here. She's very sensitive and very sensitive type. But anyway, for whatever reason, I'm still here. and I felt like it would have been okay, and that lingered for a good while. But it wasn't like a sad feeling. It didn't have any emotion to it. It wasn't a pitiful thing or a victim thing or gosh darn, I wish I wasn't here. No, it wasn't any of that. It was more clean, like could so easily not be here, but I'm still here. And I had to go through the process of healing and still do. I guess there's more. And then so recently, I think it's been growing that there's a joy about being here again. You know, I think the impact and the concussion just sort of flattened everything for a while. That's just the nature of it. But now there's a sort of a like, oh, I love being here again. It's so nice. You know, I get to see the green of the trees in Northern California. um, um, yeah, yeah. There, and then maybe there's more to share. Ooh, fancy that. Maybe there's something to share still. We'll see. So there's this sort of this like, wow, keep stepping through the doorway of the opportunity of what this life's about. It's a new, like a new doorway, and it's like a threshold, you know, another threshold. Maybe you can do that. We don't have to wait for a crisis, but we step through another threshold and take in, you know, every time you wake up in the morning, excuse me, and open your eyes, it's really a new threshold. What do I want today? And the preciousness of it all comes forward. Even if you wake up with a terrible headache like I did this morning, I'm better now because my neck is still affected by the accident, and that can cause such a headache. Um so yeah, it's just it's so precious, this life. in German, there's a word called genieß. It means you savor. So you want to savor even the damn headache that exists, like until it clears, It's like a cloud. You're going through a cloud. I'm not saying you should be enjoy about it, but just to savor an experience, meaning you're here, you're present, you're intimate with it. You're not moving away. Couldn't move away from this experience when I was in it because I'm so here now. And the impact of being here is pretty big. Have you noticed the more that we'll use awakening language, the more you wake up, the more you're impacted by being here? You feel everything and you're so available. The senses are awake and everything's so here and awake. You can't turn your head anymore. If you do, you're aware that you're turning your head, like, oh, I can't even move away from my experience. It's like I'm just here all the time. So there's nowhere to run to. There's nowhere to hide. And we don't know that that's what awakening is bringing, do we? That we're in the end just here and ever more present to being here and available within the body in an embodied way. Your senses, your everything, your feeling, but the only way that it's the only way you can really open to it so fully is by having realized your emptiness, the emptiness of reality in its the absence of things. That's the only way you can realize the fullness of things and be able to penetrate it with confidence, out of love. The divine has so in love with its creation that it's doesn't want to miss a thing. Does that make sense? No matter how brutal in a way. It really hits home that as above, so below. You know that saying, as above, so below? I've been using that lately. I have an audio on my website podcast called Free Enough to Be Bound. So you're free enough to be fully bound, fully here. And the boundness doesn't feel like that anymore. That's just an interpretation. What we say is not spiritual or good, or we don't want it. It doesn't feel good. It's uncomfortable. Those are all interpretations, right? Of course, there's some things you don't want in your life and people and all that experiences, but I'm just saying the impact that you feel inside of you is you. It has information. You're meant to become adept at opening to everything that you contain inside in a welcoming way. And that is love. That's like the purity of love. Love welcomes. Okay? So that's enough of that. Let me just look on the other page and say hi to everybody too here. Ah, well, I haven't chased anyone off. How did that happen? Okay, so the next step is that I'd love to hear from whomever would like to ask a question that you feel like is not just for information's sake, okay? But like something you think might be useful to you, or explore something that I brought up, open it up, that's useful to you, not just an intellectual inquiry. Yes, Paul.
Hi, it's wonderful to see you.
Hi, Paul. It's been a
So,
while.
yeah, and I kind of feel led to say this. I know I'm planning on going to the retreat in May, and I know several of us that are on the page probably are. I'm going to speak for myself here. If you don't feel physically up to it, please feel free to do what you need to do to take care of yourself.
Ah, thank you
You
for
know,
that. Thank you for that
uh,
permission. I don't see that happening. I'm just,
okay.
but if something weird happens, I love that permission. Thank you.
Well, it's not like I need to give it, but still, I
Oh,
just felt
it
like
feels great.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to say that. One of the things I noticed when you were talking in the beginning was I can remember someone asked me at one time, "Why do you want to awaken?" And there was this sense of being able to just go through whatever storms life gives you and remain as centered as possible. The term equipoise came to mind, and I I have the feeling you were able to maintain that throughout, with the center and
Yeah.
everything. And I know I talked to you about this. You told me about the woman that hit you, and it immediately pressed all kinds of buttons with me because I've had to deal with people like that before, and I would get resentful, and hang on to it and be angry. I appreciate the example that you gave of just letting it go, you know, and not being angry in that sense. Uh, but I'm just sort of wondering, in awakening, equipoise or that centeredness is something I have experienced a few times, and it's wonderful. You just feel like you're just here, and the world's out there, and it's just great. And uh, then the mind comes back in. You know, the aperture closes, and then I realize, okay, I have to let this happen in its own time and in its own way. And I also, what you did speak about death a little bit, and I found myself recently thinking over the last few months that I actually thought of death as kind of a career move. I'm being sarcastic. Because it's like, as you're aware, I'm retired now. So what do I want to do with? Well, there's nothing left. Maybe I could die. You know, you
Your
know.
money won't be there. Your
Yeah,
people
the
won't.
money won't be there, but I won't need the money. But
I know.
still, there's something sacred about that passage that I don't know that I want to hasten it or anything
You
like.
can't. Well, you could, I guess, but it's predestined.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you told me that. I think that was the question I wanted to have. and the loved ones at this point in time. I'm thinking of crises that could come up for me, my parents, elderly parents, and I also think of my cat, of my brothers and their children and their wives, um, all of these things. And when I think of this, the love comes up, the compassion,
Mm.
and this is something I haven't recognized in myself very much in the past. That I'm just so grateful that I can feel this in here,
Mm.
you know. So, and I was just so thankful that you were going to be okay. You
Thank you.
know,
Well, yeah,
I'm.
I would.
I mean, I'm sure I could find another teacher someplace,
No.
or
No.
no,
Just
if
joking.
you, or we could, if you had passed on, we could have Shar could help us have a big seance, a Zoom seance.
Channel.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, I'm all over the map here.
No.
I'm just so thankful to see you, Suzanne. I'm glad you're here.
I felt you all along and your
Mhm.
love.
Thank you very much for listening.
Ah. Okay, Jody.
Hi, Susanna. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Okay, good. Thanks very much for sharing your experience in the process. I'm gonna have to take these out. I'm curious in the beginning that your hip um, felt violated, and I'm just wondering whether you had a particular process, whether it was meditation or some kind of yoga or whatever that helped your body feel that it could go through or that it could come on the other side of the violation feeling?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just, when it took place, when it opened up and that voice inside, there was the voice from that hip that said it hurt. It said it hurt because they put a long screw in. So they were
Mhm,
pushing a long screw in and two others. But that I've this I just let myself really feel the voice and acknowledge it,
mhm,
and love it, and just let it hit me like, wow, yeah, that really hurt,
mm,
um how awful. And yeah, that was violating. And then this understanding came that the doctor was doing what they needed to do, and they were doing their best. It wasn't a purposeful thing. So there was that understanding that came in,
mm,
um, and I've done so many years on my own of Ho'onopono
mm,
practice.
mm,
So there was a spontaneous, there's always a spontaneous, whenever something comes up that hurts, there's a spontaneous, I'm sorry, that goes towards the experience or the feeling,
mhm,
and a love, of to touch it, with love and understanding, um, without needing to change it, not like in order to silence it or alchemize it, even just to full acknowledgement that it hurts and I'm sorry. And this I'm sorry is really just self to self,
mhm,
these places inside that we're so complex and so vast. We have so many realities inside of us, and that was one reality that it was holding on. And I'm not saying it's all done. I don't know. It could come up again, and I'll
mhm,
meet it again.
mhm.
Does that help?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it sounds like it's really not any different, or it wasn't any different than what we come up with in reality, where we are present to it and accept it and bring love to it. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but it was just sort of like a door open that I didn't know was there.
Interesting.
That
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I felt a-okay. I knew there was stuff there from the accident. I could tell that there was a lot of content that needed to be aired out.
Mhm. Mhm.
But so that was one piece, and I felt I felt relief actually afterwards. Like, oh, of course, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That you're put out, but you're not really all the way out. There's some part of you that's awake,
Mhm.
um, and that has its own reality to be
Yeah.
acknowledged and met and cared for.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Really a different faucet um,
Yeah,
that just keeps coming up. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you too, Jody. Okay, Sherry.
Mhm. Hi,
Hi, Sherry.
so good to see you. Um, so ironic that you and I saw each other in May, then I broke my wrist in two places in July, and then, you had your
I
accident.
remember that. Yeah.
And it was such a sense of um camaraderie for me because I'm like, oh, I only have these two little fractures, and she's going through all this, and while I'm going to hand therapy, I was thinking of you going to physical therapy. Um, anyhow, it really put in perspective. Let's put it like that. Um, but I was sending you good love and good juju the whole time.
I felt it. And your cards, I still have them. All
Yeah,
the cards I
yeah,
got, I have, and it meant so much to me. And they were like kind of slightly funny, dorky, cute cards.
that's me.
And I felt
Um,
you. I mean, I really, Sherry, thank you.
yeah, yeah. And um, I think too, because I was already on that process of receiving, like I just put something out on Facebook because I don't have family in the state, and even though even they just weren't able to come help me, so I had to get people, I had to ask for help, which was such a huge thing. So I was already on the receiving end of that,
Yes.
and that was such a gift, learning to ask for help on that scale and then receiving it, like having people open jars and chop my vegetables and open my cat food, and it goes on and on. It was a little different than yours because I couldn't use my dominant hand. um but I guess my question, for you, because there were so many gifts in it for me that I could have never ever expected. It's a horrible thing to not be able to drive for a couple months and all these different things, and yet all these amazing things happened, and amazing people showed up. So
Yeah.
I want to hear what you found, what gifts you found from this experience.
Ah, yeah. Thank you. I love that. And I'm glad you found some gifts for you.
Yeah. And
Um,
like Kitty, of course, just like you said, Ravi was right there snuggling the whole time. So yeah, thank goodness for pet.
oh, what a sweetheart. Oh, I love seeing his face on Facebook. um, Gifts. Well, one was that um I learned a deeper lesson about non-attachment, and by being helped, I got to learn how I could be unattached in receiving. I can receive and open to it, which was a gift. Ask for help, learned how to ask for help, learn how to not only ask for help, but like almost like give direction, like what I need, without it feeling like I was being controlling or bossy, you know? That was a gift to just be able to do that with have it be clean as just a need, see it as a need. And then the unattachment of I don't need to buy into the human created belief that we owe people something when we receive. It's funny, there's so many places that we get to wake up to and from. And We get to see the true meaning of caring over time, what it really means, right? Pure caring without wanting something in return. We get to, but I don't know if I had really known how to receive without it and let it be clean, because I hadn't been put in that position much, because I've been so independent. And I think that was a surprise to some of the people around, because there was gratitude and there was thankfulness, but it didn't have the stickiness that people are used to.
Mm.
And I got to see that, wow, it isn't looking the way that they imagine it should look like. You know, these human created beliefs around how we're supposed to operate and be with one another, it's not all it's not as truthful as it can be at times.
I want to add that it woke me up in a way, having never been disabled. Um, I did receive a lot of help, and it really awoke this. I want to pay it forward because I do have the time. I understand now in a way that I never could before what it's like to not be able to do simple things for myself.
True.
And it not because I feel like I should or obligated, I just want to, because I know other people may have friends that don't understand what it's like either. Even just a broken ankle or a broken wrist or something, it's huge, or knee surgery even. I've been helping friends out, and yeah, it just opened a new pocket of compassion and empathy.
True.
You always think you're, oh, I'm really compassionate or empathetic until something happens that takes it to a bigger level for you.
I'm in
And
agreement. That's my experience too. I haven't been able to really help yet. But my understanding and empathy has grown
Mhm.
of how much people go through. And it's created a whole nother level, like you say, a whole nother level of understanding of the physical, what takes place and what can take place. And I understood it with grief because I've lost my brother and beloveds. I've understood it in terms of not having good amount of money in my life, so I understand scarcity and what I you know
Yeah.
understand lack. There's so many things that my life has made me understand. I understand prejudice, um, because I even experienced prejudice coming to the United States, to Texas, as a European, believe it or not.
Yeah, I do believe it.
Yeah, at the time especially. I understand all kinds of things. Oh, all kinds of things. And you all do too. Everyone here has their understandings because of what you've gone through. You have more compassion and understanding for what it's like to be a mother, to have a mother or parent that needs help, to have a pet that you love, loss, betrayal, crises, physical pain, all these doorways that they open us to in terms of our compassionate heart and empathy and understanding. Especially if it's not sticky and it's filled with truth, it just it creates more dimensions. We become more dimensional, like the facet of the diamond, in many facets, more dimensional. So yes, that is a gift. So yeah, I'm
Thank
sure
you.
there are more, but we'll leave it at that for now.
Well, I hope your road to recovery, I know it's uncertain because you can't know the future, but I hope you continue to heal rapidly and feel good about your recovery.
Thank you. I feel your sincerity always. That's one thing I feel from you always, is your sincerity.
And for you as well. Thank you, Susanne.
Oh, thanks. Uh Abby. There's someone named Abby here. Hi, Abby. Did you raise your hand?
We met in, yes. if you remember. Um, so I'm just going through something, and I don't really know how to face it the way you describe your experience. Maybe it's something I'm meant to learn, and there's like no clear treatment, and no clear timeline. Uh, and I don't have the level of realization, but I don't know how to be with it in the way that you're, or try to imitate, or uh,
Yeah, I understand. And it's good to be honest about where you're at. I'm just trying to share honestly from where my place. But what is it that you don't have to share if you don't want what it is. But what is it that is holding you back from, or what do you sense is your resistance or holding back from being with what is taking place?
the unpredictability and the pain and the cyclicalness of it
Um,
and potential permanency.
so physical pain?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's hard. Pain is the hardest one, really. Physical pain in a way. I mean, emotional pain is hard too, of course. The physical pain is so, it takes over so much of the senses. Um, I'm not a master at living with pain ongoingly. Because I haven't had to do it. The pain that I still have some pain. I do. I have pain right now, but it's not taking over. It's not so bad that it's blotting out being present here, and that's what pain can do, right? It can be so bad that it 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 just blackens out the ability to be present to others, and I get it. And I don't know how to, there's nothing I can really tell you in terms of like a trick or I mean there will be tricks and there are people who do have little ways of creating space between yourself and the pain, and there are teachers who do that, and there's um that's my dog. There's processes, but that's not something I do personally. So I'm not going to make one up, because you could find that somewhere if you need it. And it's not made up per se, but it's like it's not my medicine personally, my personal medicine. And I went through childbirth twice without any pain medication. So I do, it's not like I don't know pain, and I took very little pain medication in the hospital. So it's like I think that I do know what pain is. Um I guess what I just open to it as much as I can. And um so I this is not where I am now, but where I used to be, and maybe where you might be able to relate to is, and this is not a trick, is that when one opens to something as much as possible, then you realize that there's something that's opening to the pain. And that something that's opening is not in pain. So there's pain and there's this awareness of the pain, right? And this is not like a trick. It's more like this is really the experience until it collapses. But that's really for a long time how I was able to be with something, and it just spontaneously happened. There was an experience of something and it had a lot of nuance and feeling and whatever, and then there was something that noticed that it was aware of it. It's like the noticing of it. And that noticing is kind of a refuge. It's that place where the emptiness, and you heard of emptiness and form touching, becoming one. So the emptiness piece is then, in this case, would be the noticing, would be the awareness of this something that it's touching. It's noticing pain. It's noticing sadness. It's noticing hopelessness. It's noticing a good moment. It's always accompanying you and has always accompanied you. So you can put strength in through your attention at the fact that something's noticing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sweetie, I'm so sorry.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. It's yours. The awareness is yours. Okay, Mary raised their hand. I see Mary. There you are up there. Hi, Mary.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned something you've been doing in practice for so long that Kwana, I don't know, Pono, I don't know what it sounds like. Hawaiian, what is that?
It's Hawaiian, Hono, Hono, and then Ono, Ono, and then Pono. And I have an hour long on my YouTube. I walk people through it in a non-dual way. If you want to listen to it, how to meet. Hono Ono Pono in its essence is a non-dual teaching, but I just kind of use familiar language.
Okay. Hono, Ono, Pono.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I also had an accident in August, but it was nothing like yours, but I severed the tendon to my big toe.
Oh.
Um, anyway, I couldn't walk or put down my foot for 6 weeks, and also needed help from a lot of people. And it was really amazing because I'm
Wow.
very independent and, hardly ever ask for help from anyone. And so it was incredible to have people show up. And one person who was going to help me didn't show, and it was a new friend, didn't show up. And I texted him the next day and I said, "It's fine that you didn't come. You don't owe me anything." And I just really saw post my divorce that I don't want to have any debt in relationship. It's just like, so that was a cool thing to see.
Very
Um,
cool. Yeah.
anyway, that's
Very
all I wanted to
clean.
say.
Yeah. Yeah. When people or us, when we want to help, may it come from a place of truth and true generosity, true caring, true movement, a movement that just is spontaneous, this spontaneous movement. I want to do this for them. And then it's true. Or I don't want it. I can't get myself to. I know I'm supposed to, but I can't get myself to do it. What is that saying? Unless someone absolutely is relying on you and one has to follow through, right? But if there's some wiggle room there and it's not coming from a place of truth, like if we're not really giving from a place of sincere giving, then what does that giving contain, right? It won't be complete. Okay, is there someone else that had a raised hand that I've missed? David Husky, is that who is?
Hi.
Hi,
Beautiful to be with you.
so good to see you.
Life is a song that we learned long ago, and yet we don't know the verses that are coming up. It's beautiful how, in our discussion, you talked earlier about suffering being a doorway, and physical pain has been an opening for me. This last summer, there's instances of injury in which, like with a cracked rib and so forth, a lot of pain. But I explored that and found it to be an opening, found that every pain was an open place, a place to discover. And so I'm very thankful, actually, for the experiences that pain has brought me. It sounds kind of weird, maybe, but I really, truly am. And I appreciate the beauty of your recovery and your action with regard to that. And all of those that have assisted you are just close to me, and thankful for everyone. It's wonderful to be with you and with Nala. Yeah. I love that dog too. Anyway.
I love you, and everything you say always contains authenticity and truth.
When the truth speaks, it's not me. You know, I'm the instrument, and I'm very thankful for the inspiration or words that come to me when I share. But I do love to share the silence of being just sitting and listening to you and to everyone. It's in that silence that we truly hear each other. Thank you, Susanna.
Thank you, David. Michael Dowd, did you raise your hand? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, okay, good. Hi. So wonderful to be with you. Thank you so much for taking such care to share with us in such a deep, moving way
Thank you.
everything that happened. And it's such a gift because I can feel your heart and depth meeting what would be for anyone else a total nightmare of pain and suffering, and yet you come back with so much love and heart. Oh my God.
You're a sweetheart.
It's like you dove to the bottom of the ocean for all of us to show us.
Oh, well, we're one. We're all one. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you so much.
And I can't wait to see you and Marilyn at the retreat.
Absolutely. So looking forward to that.
So, I don't think we have any more hands, because we're coming to an end. Does Angela, did you mean to do some bowls? Is that what you're sitting there so beautifully for? Okay. Let me just, wow, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I just want to look around one more time here and see everybody. And on the other page too. Oh. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for your love, and thank you for your attention. And I wish you well within your own process. I hope that this in some way, was this something that gave you something, you take home something to add to your soup, your homemade soup of yourself. You know, and we really are in this together, and we forget that. And I was reminded of that, so I really appreciate you all. Okay, so I'll have another online meeting next month. I don't know what date yet. And hey, if anybody's interested in this retreat, feel free to reach out, okay? I don't know what else to say. I think that's it. I wish you well in your journey and in your personal conditions of your life. And I don't know, I guess we're meant to be warriors and warrioresses. Is that a word? Warriors. And yogis and yoginis. So that we meet ourselves and get strong with our capacity, learning more about our own capacity to be free and also to be bound. And to not feel bound, but feel appreciation for this gift of life in the midst of it all. It's a high calling. So Angela's going to sing us out with her beautiful gift of bowls. And at the end, we'll say goodbye if you're able to stay to the end. It won't be very long.
Thank you. I'll just play a small sequence, so allow yourself to get comfortable.
Oh, oh, so pure and beautiful. Thank you, Angela. Angela's going to be doing the bowls at the retreat. She did last 2 times too. And it's so beautiful. People lay down and get a sound bath for a good while. It really makes a difference to for the harmonization of the energies. All right. So what can I say at the very end? That just to acknowledge that there really is something true to awakening that exists. It's really true. It's the good news. And that it can really help in one's life, not to live it, and when these when difficult things arise, it helps one. I got the test of it too. And we keep cracking open and coming through it and becoming more and more whole and transparent and be loving. It's a beautiful thing. We get refined over time. So to not resist as much as possible the refinement process. Embrace it. Okay. Hope to see you again next time. Okay. Feel free to sign up for my online meetings MailChimp if you haven't already, so you can get the notices when I do this again. And feel free to unmute yourself. Well, I would love to have just a lovely goodbye from everybody. Hear your voice for a moment.
We love you so much.
Yes.
Feel it.
Susanne,
you.
Susanne, love you.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
all love you.
Thank you, everyone.
Love you,
Cool.
Susanne.
Cool.
Bye. Good to see everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Be well. Be well.
Angela, that was very special. I appreciate that, the beautiful sequence of bells and wow.
For sure.
Always special.
So appreciated. And Shar too, appreciate you.
Thank you.
I've missed
Susanna, I feel your graciousness.
Thank you, Sherry.
Sweet to receive. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I received in turn. I'm
Have a
in
beautiful day.
extra blessed.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Love you all.
Be
Love you
well.
all.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.